You don't know what you have until it's gone, until you absolutely lose it. Sometimes what you lose is focus on the inside. It's not even like a friend dying or anything like that. It's not money that you've lost. It's not, an old car or something like that, or something that you cherish physically. It's just something that used to be a part of you, and you just don't feel like you can get it back, or it's gone. It's not as pertinent as it used to be. It's not as strong. It's not possible that, you could lose such a thing, but deep down, you feel as if you've lost it. You feel as if it's just not there anymore. And sometimes that happens to fighters. The life of a fighter reminds me of the old gunfighter. And the gunfighter stays in the game so long that he develops this fear that his time is coming. He becomes gun shy. And he just can't pull that trigger anymore. He can't get the weapon out of his holster fast enough. And everywhere he goes, every town he goes to, he's basically, trying to blend into the crowd, not be heard from, doesn't want to talk to anyone. He becomes a recluse. And it's all because that fear has set in, that he just doesn't feel like he can do it anymore. And we're not even talking about someone bad, like a bad gunfighter or someone evil. Just talking about a gunfighter, maybe because that's the way he makes his living. Maybe, he's a gun for hire. And even if he was out there catching bad guys, there's a point that comes where you just don't feel like you have it anymore. And we all have that, when I put my pen down from drawing and went 30 years without drawing, there was a lot of fear. Initially, I didn't feel as if, I had it. And so what did I do to start drawing again? I think it's like 3 things that I did that I know for certain. And one was I had to fix my mind that I was not drawing for anyone. I'm a mixed martial arts coach, and it's okay. I'm not going to be the same artist as a kid, that I am now. And so I had to let that let that guide me that, hey, it's okay to be, an artist who just draws for fun. I'm not trying to recreate anything that I did when I was, much younger. So I'm just doing it for fun. So my art is just a form of relaxation. It's just a form of concentration and focus, and that's it. So the first thing I did was just fix my mind. I just had to get it inside of my head that I am not trying to do this to be a professional artist. I'm not trying to do this forever. It's not going to take over anything that I'm doing now. It was just fun, absolute fun. And then the second thing that I did was I set time for it. I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself a certain amount of time initially, because I'm just training fighters on a regular basis. Initially, I gave myself 3 to 6 hours a day to actually work on my art, because I didn't want to take forever to regain some of the skills. I don't feel like I've regained them all, but I had to give myself a schedule. Say, okay, the 3 to 6 hours just all depend on who I was working with, where I was working, and the daily schedule. So 3 to 6 hours just working on my art and just working on basic skills, drawing shapes, doing contrast sketches, just doing sketches that depicted force and motion. Nothing too serious. Just spent a lot of time just doing the basic drills, just the basics, just the fundamental skills that I needed to work on, and trying to bring the art to life, give it some type of story behind it, some type of motion in the pictures, working on composition, working on contrast, just actually, just spending that amount of time. And the third thing is just the grind, so I set my daily schedule of what I was doing, but then I worked my grind by giving myself objectives, saying, okay, I want to complete these pictures by the end of the week, end of the month. I want to have X number I want to try to fill up at least one, art book, sketchbook, and just develop a collection and just get started that way, And that's what I did. And it's been just over a year, about a year and 4 months. And I have several books completed, each page completed. And then I have a couple paintings I've done and a collection. Again, nothing that I would sell on the market as a professional, but at the same time, it's for my relaxation. It's for my hand-eye coordination. It's a way to focus. It's a way to bring myself back to being centered and balanced. So when you lose something, you can find it again, but you have to kind of put things in perspective. You have to kind of identify what is it that you lost, and then develop a mindset in terms of how do you get that thing back, and then create some type of format that will help you get that. And mine just happened to be art, so it was easy to set that format. Go buy materials, work on basic drawing skills. I'm better at drawing what I see than I am drawing out of my head, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to draw out of my head, so I just continue to practice on that. And that's the next phase, to spend my time drawing more things that are creatively constructed out of my dome, more so than the things that are a reference material. Once you get your mind made up and you get your time made up to do these things, you have to practice it every day, like any other skill. And then when you get into the habit of practice, you've got that practice, that deliberate practice, where you're doing isolation drills, whether you're making a full example of the thing you're trying to do, whatever it is, then that's when you work your grind. Because now you want to have a full result. You want to give yourself some definitive goals and deadlines to say, okay, I'm going to work on these skills because I want to do X by the end of whatever month or year. And it doesn't matter. This will apply to, public speaking. If that's what you seem to have lost, if you felt like you've lost your skills just to talk to people, even making friends again, it doesn't matter. But you're not doing it now because you felt like you lost it. And all I did was just provide you a little insight with how I recovered mine. I am Coach Sess, and you've had words with the Mad Coach.